Today I want to share 5 mindset tools that I use to keep my head in a great place in my life. If you find your mind is working against you, make sure you watch this video. So here are 5 mindset strategies that I use to keep my head in a good place in my life. And don't get me wrong, I have moments where my head is working against me, but what I'm trying to do is minimize that time so I have a healthy headspace in my head. The first is I don't talk bad about myself. And what I mean by this is both internally and externally to the world. When I think about the inner language and the external language I have about myself, I'm kind to myself. And it's not that I don't have areas I need to work on, but in those areas I try to identify the real problem I need to solve and find strategies so I can move forward. I'm never negative, I'm never vicious, I never beat myself up because I just don't think that helps me in my life. The second thing is I try not to judge people in a way that is negative. We are all have our struggles and all of us make actions that we maybe can't be proud of. I try not to be the person who sits on the sideline and points the finger at and just judges these people. You often find the really judgy person in life is often more about themselves. And for me, the way I try to represent other people in my life is to try to get an understanding of the root cause of what's really causing their actions. Let's say somebody is doing something really negative. Often there is a deeper rooted cause behind that. And I think I'm better off spending time trying to understand it, so either I can have better empathy towards that person, or at least I can manage that interaction better myself. The third thing I do, which is really important, is I remove comparison from my life. I think comparison is one of the most dangerous things we see in life. Comparison in 2 ways. Comparison to earlier versions of myself, which I may have been better at, or comparison to other people in my life. And I think this is really important because when we think about comparison to other people, we often just compare to the best person in lots of different areas. I think one of the greatest skills we can have is just have the ability to understand where I am right now and where I want to grow, and then see the ability to actually grow in that area. The fourth thing I do is I don't worry about a future I can't predict. It's really interesting in life when you look at people who spend time predicting the future. It might be people who predict the stock market. It might be people who predict the next election and so on. These people spend a lot of time predicting sports scores. Often they're wrong. And these people are often experts in their areas. And it's really interesting if you think about this. An expert in their area doesn't have the ability to actually pick the future. None of us can pick the future. None of us exactly know what the future is going to be. So to spend time worrying about a future that I can't actually predict, I think is an unhealthy thing to do. And when we think about a lot of worry in life comes from worrying about a future. So I don't spend time worrying about a future I can't see. What I think about is how do I live today in a way that's aligned to my values and the actions that I want to take in my day. And trusting if I live today like this, my future is probably going to be okay. And then the fifth thing I do to look after my headspace, my mindset in my life, is I have structures in my life in a daily and weekly way that allow me to succeed in this area. And what do I mean by this? Well, I talk about my weekly meeting, my morning meeting, writing journals, meditation. These are structures that I put in my day every day of my life that allow me to be aware of what's happening in my head. Because at times my head does work against me. But when you have great structures, you have great awareness, and you have the ability to switch back to a direction that is healthy for you in your life. So if you're someone who struggles with the mindset in your life, maybe these are some of the strategies that you can put in place to help you have a healthy head more often in your life.